Could you imagine the best team in the league getting even better than it already was? Most of the time, no one would expect a team with a championship and two of the best players in the league to make significant improvements heading into the next season. But this time around, the Lakers decided to do things their own way. During the offseason, the Purple and Gold parted ways with 3 starters and 2 of their best bench players. But they managed to replace them with superior talent despite lacking financial flexibility. That alone was enough to make them look like the winners of the offseason. But to make things even more unfair for the rest of the league, the team had a hidden gem within its roster. And when the preseason got going, Talen Horton-Tucker made sure the world learned his name by dominating the competition and showing the Lake Show's roster was deeper than most people expected. Welcome to Courtside. Today we'll talk about THT's breakout performances and what we should expect from him during his sophomore season. Just a month ago, Talen's greatest highlight was a video of him being sent to the floor by Anthony Davis during a celebration of the big man's game winner against the Denver Nuggets in the conference finals. It may sound hilarious, but that's how relevant his role was during his rookie season. It may seem crazy to think the Lakers didn't give a chance to a player that's capable of scoring and playing defense at a high level. However, things weren't exactly like that at first, and there were good reasons why the young guard didn't break into the team's rotation. First of all, he hadn't shown to be able to do that consistently. Before making it to the NBA, Talen didn't look like the kind of player that could punish opposing defenses. At the time, he was considered an average player, and scouts were worried about his shooting, decision-making, and lack of effort on defense. On top of that, a stress reaction caused him to have a poor showing during pre-draft workouts, hurting his value as the draft ceremony was getting closer. So by the time everything was said and done, it came as no surprise he fell into the middle of the second round. However, he received a pleasant surprise after learning the Lakers had made a trade to acquire him. That way, he became the youngest player of a team with championship aspirations. And as should have been expected, he didn't receive too many minutes during his rookie year. Considering what the Lakers were trying to do and how much they had given up to put LeBron James and Anthony Davis on the same roster, they didn't have room for a mistake. And even though the rest of the team wasn't full of elite talent, there were enough veterans to make sure THT wouldn't get onto the court very often. As a result, he made only 2 appearances with the team before the season's suspension and instead spent most of the time playing in the G League. As part of the South Bay Lakers, he showed he could be a valuable player by averaging 18 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists in 38 appearances. Then as the season resumed inside the Orlando bubble, he rejoined the parent team and received more playing time after the Lakers secured the first seed. He made the most out of those chances as he scored at least 10 points in 3 of the 4 games he played in and made his first appearance as a starter in the team's season finale. That helped him make a good impression with Coach Vogel, who decided to give him a chance in a game that actually mattered by playing in Game 4 of the second-round series against Houston. He was called again in the deciding Game 5, and though he wasn't on the floor for too long in either game, he managed to help his team extend a lead both times while also receiving invaluable experience from making his playoff debut. From that point on, Talen was seen only as a part of the team's bench celebrations. But despite not having a relevant role during the Lakers' playoff run, he became the youngest American player to win an NBA championship and the second youngest behind Darko Milicic. Curiously, the player he surpassed was no other than Lakers legend and 5-time champion Magic Johnson, so the record remained with the team. But everything changed for him once the preseason got going. Since most vets were either resting or new to the team, THT received a starting spot, and he made the most out of it. The sophomore helped lead the team to a perfect record during the shortened preseason, but unlike in the previous season, Talen had a large role in each of LA's victories. Throughout 4 games, he averaged 20.5 points, 6.5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2.2 steals per game while also having an outstanding 33-point and 10-rebound performance against the Clippers. Overall, he led all players in total steals during preseason games and was second in points behind the Suns' Devin Booker, and he did it while shooting the ball efficiently. During his time in the G League, the guard's shooting percentages were average at best. However, his shooting splits were 53, 46, 90 in 4 preseason appearances with the Lakers. And while those numbers may not hold up during the regular season, the improvements deserve recognition. But the best of all is that his play wasn't limited to the offensive end. Though most of his highlights consisted of a step-back 3 or a smooth drive to the hoop, he also displayed a defensive presence that allowed him to help his team on that end of the floor. During a game against the Clippers, there was a sequence in which he took the ball out of Kawhi's hands and started the fast break. Usually, Leonard is the one doing such things, and the fact that Talen was playing so well on both ends of the court caught his attention. According to Wesley Matthews, Kawhi asked him about Talen's age, and it was at that moment that both players learned the sophomore was only 20 years old. But now that the preseason is over, what are the chances we'll see THT having 30-point games again? The truth is that, unless the Lakers struggle with injuries or health protocols, the shooting guard won't receive too many minutes very often. But that doesn't mean he'll play as little as he did during his rookie season. By showing what he was capable of doing during the preseason, he not only earned the attention of the whole basketball world, he also put the pressure on his coach to find minutes for him during the regular season. Vogel admitted as much during a recent interview, saying that Talen wasn't making his job any easier. But if you're the Lakers, that may be an excellent problem to have. Considering how deep the Lakers roster is, THT may be the 11th man on the team. And while that may not be an encouraging sign, he's made an appearance on each of LA's games so far, and there's no reason to believe things are going to change. Given the team's depth, he may only receive about 10 minutes per game, but given the circumstances under which the season is being played, there's a chance he receives a larger role from time to time. Aside from blowouts, he should see more minutes whenever LeBron or AD receive some rest, and considering the Lakers were one of the two teams with the shortest offseason, their star players should be rested regularly throughout the season. There's also the chance the team gets to deal with the coronavirus as the season moves on. And while we hope that doesn't happen, the Rockets already showed us how easy it was for a team to lose rotation players because of the virus. But regardless of how many minutes Talen receives, we can be sure about one thing: the Lakers will take his development very seriously. While LA has always been known for its power to attract elite players, the team has also shown its ability to develop young players and help them become valuable pieces over the last few years. Players like D'Angelo Russell and Brandon Ingram have already been selected as all-stars in the past and have prominent roles within their new teams. Others like Lonzo Ball and Julius Randle are also quality starters. But the Lakers' success in developing players is not limited to its previous lottery selections. The team has also drafted quality players late in the first round or even the second round. Most of them have turned into valuable assets. To name a few examples, Jordan Clarkson, Thomas Bryant, and Zubats have each turned into key rotation players for the current teams. And others like Josh Hart, Moritz Wagner, and Larry Nance Jr. have turned into excellent role players. But not all of the young talent has left the team. Kyle Kuzma and Alex Caruso have both embraced a limited role within the team while also showing progress in their play after each year. Of course, the situations of both players were very different. Kuzma went from being one of the team's main offensive weapons during his rookie season to having an inconsistent role as a part of Vogel's system during last season. However, he showed more consistency during the last few weeks, and there's reason to believe he'll finally be able to be productive on a night-to-night basis. On the other hand, Caruso was an undrafted player that made his way out of the G League by embracing his role. And even if he's not a star, he's become one of the most popular players on the team because of his hard play. So even if Talen doesn't receive too many minutes during this season, the Lakers will almost surely give him a larger role as the years go by, and his age may eventually help him with that. Given he's the youngest player on the team by a wide margin, there's a chance the front office could see him as an integral part of the future if he's able to keep progressing as a player. After all, it's well known that Rob Pelinka and his team are already thinking about a future where LeBron will eventually start to slow down, and Davis will need fresh legs to help him carry the load. And while it's way too early to tell whether THT will be one of those players, the idea of having a homegrown star in the future must be appealing to the team, especially considering there are already scouts saying he could average around 20 points per game in a different situation. All in all, Talen could end up being the greatest steal of his draft class. The abilities he's shown and the progress he's made so far make him one of the most intriguing players on the Lakers roster. And the fact he's had the support of LeBron for a few years should only help him in the long run. Still, as well as he played during the preseason, it's evident he still has a lot of work to do, but the good news is that he may be in the ideal situation to keep improving as a player. While that may not allow him to have an immediate impact on the game, it may eventually help him to become the best version of himself. But now, what are your thoughts about THT's role with the Lakers? Do you believe Vogel should find a way to increase his minutes? Let us know in the comments. We hope you've enjoyed today's video, and if you did, remember to like it and subscribe to our channel for more NBA content. We are Courtside.